Hi, my name is Shane Emerson, and I'm an environmental scientist with California State Parks Off-Highway Motor Vehicle Recreation Division. Today I'm here to show you all how to use U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Information for Planning and Consultation tool, or IPaC for short, to help you identify and determine potential federally designated listed species, migratory birds, critical habitat, and other natural resources that may be impacted by your project. The IPaC tool is normally used for pre-project planning associated with Section 7 consultation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, but can also be used informally, which I'll be demonstrating today, to view, plan, and evaluate a potential project area for federally sensitive resources. Some things to note before we start. First is that this process only specifically detects those sensitive species and habitats with a federal designation, meaning it won't tell you which state-listed or state-sensitive species and habitats are present within a proposed project area. To get state-listed species, it is highly recommended to run a complementary search to this one using California Department of Fish and Wildlife's California Natural Diversity Database, which you can learn how to use in one of my other videos. Secondly, that this process I'm going to demonstrate today does not represent an actual 7-section formal consultation with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. This demonstration is purely to show you how to informally use the IPaC to assess a project area for federally listed and sensitive biological resources, so you can properly plan your project and answer sensitive resource-related questions within your project application. So what we're going to do, first thing is, you're going to open up your preferred web browser and head to a search engine of your choice. And then what you're going to do in that search engine is type in IPaC beta. And so we're going to use actually the beta version of IPaC. This is to avoid accidentally creating or starting an informal consultation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, or if you have an ongoing U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Section 7 consultation, to avoid that mixing up with maybe some other projects you have going on or that link to your account. And so I prefer the beta version. You can actually use the normal version of IPaC if you want. This is just to avoid that hassle. I prefer the beta version. And so you see two links here. The first link takes you directly to the tool. The second link will take you to the homepage. I'm going to click on the homepage. I always like to make sure I'm in the beta. There's two ways to do that. When you click on it, you'll see up here the logo's grayed out, and you have beta written in big old letters right across that logo. And then it's also down here, just so you know. And the beta version is just as current as the normal version. It just avoids that whole possibility of you accidentally creating and starting an informal consult or anything like that. That's why I like using the beta. It just removes that possibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Get Started here. You can always check out this page if you are more interested in what IPaC is and how it works. But I just go click here, Get Started. And what that's going to do is going to take me directly to the tool. So if I clicked on the first link, I'd end up straight here. And it's going to tell me, yep, I'm in the beta version. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And so I have my map here on the right, and you'll see, as I always like to do, you can click, drag, and drop it, zoom in and out with your mouse wheel, or you can use the plus and minus here in the corner. And then you can also change your imagery, your background imagery. So I always prefer satellite. That's always just been a personal preference of mine. But you can click on any one you want. They have three options with street, topography, and satellite imagery. And so our first step is finding our project location, right? So we're working in California, and we want to find out our specific project location. So there's one of a few ways you can do this. What's really nice is you can just type in the project location name. And for this exercise, we're going to be using Hungry Valley State Vehicular Recreation Area. And you can just type it in. Look, that already pops up, and you can see it takes me right to where Hungry Valley is. That's where my project area is going to be, is in the entirety of the Hungry Valley SVRA. And it'll zoom you right to your location where you can do your next step. Other options for this slot right here is you can type in the actual address if you're working in a specific location, or you can put in the coordinates. So you can just put them in like this and push enter, and it'll take you to wherever those coordinates are from. So this is a way of finding your project area really quickly. And so the next step, what you're going to do is you're going to define your project area. So this is very similar to the California Natural Diversity Database tool. So you have a few options here. You can select a different drawing tool. So you have the sketch tool, the polygon tool, and the line tool. And you can use one of these to define your project area. So say I'm specifically working in this. What you can do with the sketch tool is you can just draw like a pencil on the map. And what it'll do is it'll put down a polygon for you. And that's basically what you're saying is your project area. And that's how you can define the boundaries of where you're working in. Another option is the polygon, which is my preferred option, is where you drop the different points of the polygon. And it gives you a little more control, and then you double click to finish, and that'll give you the project area within which you're working. And then the last option is line, similar to the polygon. You're going to drop. Maybe I'm working on a specific trail. I'm going to drop little dots, a line that's going to represent my project area. And then what's nice about the line option is you can also give it a buffer. So depending on what kind of work you're doing and the resources you might be dealing with or impact level you might have, you might widen or shrink this buffer. I'm going to stick with the default, which is 100 feet, based on what U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service already has in the tool. And so I'm going to click on Continue. And what that should do is that should bring you to, if it takes, there it goes, it loaded, your, what's it called? Your resources list. And so, sorry, it took the, and basically it's going to print out a list for you, but I want to specifically get a specific project location. I want to show you guys a different option that you guys might have. If you really want to define your project boundaries well, is using either a KMZ file or a shape file and uploading that geometry to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over. And if you go to find location, you'll see this tab right here that says upload geometry. And what you can do is you can actually upload different files. And there's actually a video here that shows you how to upload a shapefile if you need that assistance. I'm going to try and show you what I know and how to do it. Basically, for a shapefile, what you're going to need is you need the shapefile, the shapex file, DBF, and a PRG if you don't have a lat long. And basically, the way you see this is if you have a shapefile present in your computer, you can click on, well, I've got to open it this way, desktop, and you can actually look in the shapefile and you'll see that all these are here. The problem with shapefiles is you can't upload it. This is several files and you can't upload them all together. So what you got to do is you got to compress these. And the way to compress them into a zip folder like this one right here is just right click on it. And you're going to click send to and compress the zip folder. And that'll create a folder like this. And so that's how you upload a shapefile. So you can either do it one of two ways. So you can either use a KMZ file, which is Google Earth for those that are unfamiliar with it. So if you make a drawing in Google Earth and save it as a KMZ, it will pop up here and upload to this map. So we're going to use this Google Earth file and Hungry Valley SVRA KMZ. And that's the Hungry Valley SVRA borders, right? And so this is my project area, and that's what I've defined as my project area. And another cool thing I can do is then it'll search this project area for any potential critical habitat, sensitive species, birds conservation concerns, stuff like that. That we might be worried about with our projects. And something else I wanted to show you guys is what you can do is you can go down here to this tab, it says layers, add, click on add, and you do this drop arrow right here for biological data, and you can actually click on this right here. So if you're ever curious if you have critical habitat in or around your project area, this is a great way to do it. And you click this little button on critical habitat. This is U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service proposed and final critical habitat. And you can click OK. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up all the critical habitat in this red on the map. And what you can actually do, so this is my project area, so we can see there's no overlap with any critical habitat, yet I have critical habitat adjacent to my project area. That may or may not benefit from my project, right? And you can actually click on each thing and it'll tell you which species critical habitat it belongs to. So this is critical habitat over here for conservancy and vernal pool fairy shrimp. This stream course right here is critical habitat for arroyo toad. And so it'll tell you actually what's there. And this one's for California condor. So very cool, very fun tool to use, but we're going to go ahead and click on continue. And I'll show you how all these results pan out in the resources list. And so what happens is then you click continue, and it's going to take a second to load. And based on your defined project area, it's going to give you a resources list. And this is the potential resources that can occur in your project area according to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and their IPaC tool. And so just the caveat, this is an informal list. There's a chance that some of these species will or will not need to be accounted for within your project area. Perfect example of this is we're in Hungry Valley Estuary. I don't think we need to worry about green sea turtle. It's on this list, but this is something that we can take to our biologists and they can confirm that yes, there's no green sea turtle habitat at Hungry Valley SVRA. And so what's nice is it generates this resource list for you. And so first things first, it gives you your endangered species and critical habitat. So it pops up either in thumbnail, so you can have visual imagery to see what species you're dealing with, or you can just have it in list format, and it actually gives you its federal designated status, its scientific name, and its common name. And it breaks it down by taxonomic group. And then if you had critical habitat, so as you saw with the map, we didn't have any critical habitat in our project area, it would list the critical habitats and what species they're associated with down here. So that's the first tab. The second tab is if you have potential for bald and golden eagle in the project area. This will pop up, and what's nice is it pops up as a list, and then you can even do probability of presence, and you can see when their breeding season occurs and the probability of them being in or around the project area. So this green right here on your map will show you possibility of them popping in the project area, and then yellow will actually give you the breeding season within your project area. And it even lists it right here for you, which is really nice. And it does the same thing for this next tab, which is migratory birds. So it breaks it down by the breeding season. And what these all are is these are all listed as birds of conservation concern from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They're not necessarily designated a listing status, but these are birds that are typically migratory and depend on habitat within California and California's flyways. This is a generated list of potential migratory birds you may have concern with based on your project. And then this is facilities. This is usually if you have a fish hatchery or a national wildlife refuge within your project area. That's this. So this last tab is your national wetlands inventory, right? So this is how you're going to determine what wetlands are federally designated wetlands are present within the project area. And what's nice is it makes a nice little list off to the left here for you. And this coding looks very confusing, but you can just click on these links and it'll actually tell you what that coding means. And you can even go to the National Wetlands Inventory website and it'll break down that coding for you as well. What's nice too is if you're looking for specific areas within your project or specific systems, you can go to this map and you can actually go in and click on the map, and in areas where you have wetlands, it'll pull up which wetlands present and give you more specific information on it, and what type of wetland system it is and what size it is. So some really cool information here that's easily and freely accessible and available. And the final thing I want to show you guys is how to print off your own resource list. So all the stuff we just looked at, you can print off very easily. I like to save it as PDF, so I have it digitally, digital copy. I would definitely attach this to an application where I'm dealing with environmental resources, where I may have to have an HMP or may exclude myself from an HMP. But it's nice. It gives you a picture of your project area. It gives you your local fish and wildlife offices. It gives you a breakdown of your endangered species by taxonomic groups, so birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, crustaceans. It gives you your critical habitats. If you had any, they'd be listed here. Bald and golden eagle. It also gives you their probability present summary for them. So you know, like, here's the breeding season, here's the activity periods within my project area, and does the same for your migratory birds. So it's really useful too. So each for your migratory birds, it gives you their probability present summary and their breeding seasons as well. So you can definitely plan a lot better with this information about when your projects occur and how to avoid impacts to species. And then the final thing it gives you is your National Wetlands Inventory. So it only gives you a list. It unfortunately doesn't give you the map. But what you can do is it gives you the systems you know, and then you can actually go to this website and actually run a wetlands inventory search. So great resource, great tool. I hope you all found this useful. I appreciate your time. Please reach out with any questions. Otherwise, have a good day and good luck with your projects. Thank you.